Oh, this video is way later than I wanted it to be. Hurry up and roll that intro so we can get to it. First book for the month was Cormac McCarthy's classic, No Country for Old Men, the basis of the 2007 Coen Brothers movie of the same title. The book was really good. I also happen to really enjoy the movie. And much like the other books that have been turned into movies that I've read, I was very glad I saw the movie first. I've noticed a pattern, and I don't know if this is every book-to-movie adaptation, going back and reading the book after the movie, but all of the books I've read that have movie adaptations that I've seen, the book almost is missing details or doesn't flow right by itself, and you almost kind of need, at least for me, you kind of need the, oh, well, it was like this in the movie, that's this person, this is their motivation for it, to kind of fill in gaps. And there probably aren't really gaps in it, I'm probably just crazy. Just several characterizations are different, well, not really different in this, but just some of them in here are less explored than they are in the movie, and there's some characters who are more explored. One character who gets way more explanation in here, well, two actually. Sheriff Ed Tom Bell, who was Tommy Lee Jones in the movie, gets a little bit more book time than he did in the movie, and actually contributes a little bit more to it than he did in the movie, which is a positive. Pretty much the same results as the movie, so, you know, whatever with that. But Anton Chigurh, the villain, gets a little bit more. And that's a villain that works perfectly on less is more. The Coens understood that very well. I'm not saying he's in the book too much, but you could have cut out one extra scene. Another thing, and I don't know if this is a positive or a negative, is Cormac McCarthy's writing style. This is the first book of his I've read. And, well, he's not a fan of quotation marks or dialogue tags. So you just kind of have to figure out who's speaking. Luckily, the characters' voices are all very distinct, even when it's just, huh, what, yep, huh, dialogue back and forth. You can pretty clearly follow who it is, which is exceptional, in my opinion. The one area where, out of that I think made a translation problem to film is, I believe a line that is spoken in the movie by Tommy Lee Jones is not meant to be spoken by his character, but by the other character in the room. It's the line toward the end when he's talking to his cousin. I think it's his cousin at the end, and talking about, in the movie he mentioned, I was sort of hoping that one day God would just sort of come into my life. It doesn't fit his character. At least not in the book it doesn't. It might have been, and then they changed it for the movie. I don't know, but it doesn't fit the movie version very well, and reading it really doesn't fit. So I don't know if that was a change in translation. For those of you who have read the book and have seen the movie, what do you think? Am I right or wrong in that? Did it strike you as funny too? I don't know. Leave me a comment and let me know below. If you haven't read the book, read the book, watch the movie, leave a comment below and let me know if I'm right or wrong. Overall, I really enjoyed the read. It was good to dip back into the world of a really good movie for a slightly more detailed version in the book. Yeah, highly recommend it. 4 stars. I dipped into a little nonfiction this month with a book called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. I've seen this book in bookstores for years, and I finally decided to get a copy of it and check it out. It's good. It's full of little inspirational sayings you see, on Facebook. Pinterest is full of them. Little things that, sound witty, that are true and actually are very beneficial if you think about them. They're just all collected into one nice little volume that gives encouragement, not only encouragement, but ways to apply said encouragement to make things happen. If you're a creative person of any capacity, be it writing, film, art, pitching humanitarian projects, all sorts of good stuff. I highly recommend reading this book. There is something in it for everybody. Hush Kitty. It's a really cheap book at like $13. For the information that's in it, I highly recommend picking it up. This is an automatic 5 stars for me. Wonderful bit of information. You will not be disappointed. Now, if you follow all the advice of the last book I read, but feel like you need it to go just a little bit further, maybe take it to the next level, Lost and Cleon wrote a sequel called Show Your Work, or otherwise known as Share Like an Artist. Again, 5 stars. Brilliant information, stuff that seems obvious that you might not think of, stuff that seems obvious that you overlook because, well, it can't be that simple. Really good stuff, really helpful, 5 stars. I recommend getting both of them. They're both like $13 a piece. There is a third book in the series, which I have not read, I do not own, but I wish to get soon. Believe me, when I read that, I'll be talking about it. Show Your Work and Steal Like an Artist, 2 really good books. Both 5 stars. Highly recommend. Dipping back into fiction, pulp fiction, we have Blue Steel #1. This cover is very deceiving. What I figured it was going to be, based off the cover, was a pulp trashy men's adventure crime vigilante book, maybe set in the 70s based off the dude's outfit and kind of ridiculous hair. The Tommy gun's a bit much, could have been the 60s, could have been earlier, but I would have said 50s to 70s. Just action, just kill 'em all book. That is not what this is. This actually, from doing some research on it, I'm not quite sure why it's a #1, because I've never found a #2. Basically, there's a pulp hero who is a semi-ripoff of the Shadow called the Spider. The final book in the Spider series did not get published. It got held onto by whatever the publisher was, and eventually some names were changed, and it was put out as Blue Steel. The cover art was not even commissioned for it. This is actually like unused cover art from a separate pulp adventure story, I believe called Operator Number 5. It's a hodgepodge. It is a random, weird little hodgepodge that I found somewhere, and I got it because, it's got the Shadow. It's supposed to be kind of in the same vein as those characters, which, can't be bad, and it's not bad. It's a 4-star book. It's weird, though, because it was originally a Spider story, it plays off as if you know these characters already, as if we've been on tons of adventures with these guys. This is just another day in the life of this character, despite the fact that it's a #1. And, of course, by changing character names, I don't think the location changed, but they shifted some stuff around where I don't know any of these people. I guess there's a history. It's not quite as well written as any of the Shadow stories I've read. But then again, when you started reading the top and you're working your way down, the quality can't maintain. That's just my opinion, though. Would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. If you can find it at a used bookstore, it's an entertaining read. You're not going to be bored. It's got a couple weirdities in it that took it out of, well, it's not even so much weirdities, it's cheesy written, and not good cheesy. It's the type, okay, for fans of cheesy things, when you hear people write something off as, it's just so cheesy, the type of wrongness that they're talking about. They don't really know what they're talking about. They have this particular notion in head it's just not what it is. This is exactly what that notion is. It's still entertaining, but it's not... Well, it's not the Shadow. So, 4 stars. The last book I read in April is by my boy Bobby Block. Firebug. I like Robert Block. I've read several books of his now. He's most famous for Psycho, which I read, and I really enjoyed. I believe this is the first book he wrote after Psycho. I think he still might have been stuck in that psychological are they, aren't they, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy mode, because some of this is a little obvious, some of this is a little trippy for the sake of being trippy, I guess to throw you off, but not really, but then it kind of is, but then it isn't. It's way twistier and turny for a book from 1961 than I would have thought. Although I'll say for a book about setting fires and pyromania, there is not as much fire in it as I would like, but it's still entertaining. The characters are interesting, aside from one, but that's a spoiler, and we're not getting into that. The ending, I'm not going to say the ending's bad, but the ending dropped it fully down to 4 stars for me. So I think this is the lowest ranked Robert Bloch book I've read, but still 4 stars isn't bad. I mean, if you're maintaining a 5 and 4 star average, that's a considerable amount of talent. I highly recommend anything by Robert Bloch. This one, if you're a completionist, or if you like Pyromania, or if you just think the cover's creepy. This is a reissue by Tor from, I would guess, the 80s or early 90s. I happen to like this style of horror book. I think they're interesting because, well, cover design's lame now, and so even simplicity like this works. The fonts are nice. I like weird. I'm a weird typography, font, cover art person. That means a lot to me. I judge books by their covers. Yeah, 4 stars. Robert Bloch, Firebug. Give it a go. If you like Robert Bloch, if you like horror, if you like pyromaniacs, if you want me to shut up, give it a go. 4 stars. I am so sorry that this video is coming out this late into the month. I will try to do better in the future. End of April / early May was super weird and busy for me, but I think I'm all caught up now. I think we're back to a good flow. My May reading review should be coming up fairly soon. I'm ready to talk about those. That is based off a theme, which I'm excited for you guys to see what that theme is. But that's then. This is now. Y'all are party people. I'm MH Smith, and this is the end of the video.